Hope you're doing well and welcome back to the channel. Today I am riding the Rerode R1 Plus bike. We just got this in and it's something a little bit new for me. It's a small E-Moto. It's an 18-19 setup. Not a lot of volume in the tires, but the ability to add a little bit more if you need it. Things that really stand out on this bike. It's a little bit longer geometry than you see in a lot of other bikes. It does have a little bit more reach up front. It's a little bit unusual and it doesn't steer quite as well, but it is definitely more planted than other small E-Motos. And I think that's really fitting for this. And I think that was a bold choice for Rerode to do. Other things that stand out for this bike that kind of screams like this is a trail bike. It has a disc guard in the back. It has great brakes. Honestly, no complaints here. I think this is plenty. You don't really need to have anything beyond that. Suspension is nice. It's tool-less suspension. You can adjust it front and rear. You don't need any tools. It's really easy to adjust the suspension. The plastics and the graphics are really durable. It has kind of this unique, almost grip tapey type graphics kit on it. And you don't really see it until you're up close, but yeah, it adds a little bit of grip to the bike. It's probably like good protection for the plastics as well. Very unique. I really like the kind of murdered out black look. That definitely appeals to me. They have a white version of this as well. And I think that's super cool. It's very minimal. The branding is very tight. I think it just has a very refined look to it out of a lot of small E-Motos. The bike's a little dirty right now, but even the controller, you can tell that they put a lot of effort into making this bike look nice and look higher end than it actually, is price point wise. And I think they did a really nice job of making it as nice as possible within that. A few days ago when I was assembling this bike, a few things stuck out to me during that process. I think they really did a nice job of putting it together. So when you get this new bike, you feel like you have really good instructions. I mean, the manual looks very detailed. I didn't use it, but if you're a new bike builder, which this is probably, targeted toward, it's very detailed. Like you wouldn't have an issue building this bike. They spell it out. On top of that, they give you some nice things too. They give you a tire inflator, like a really nice electric tire inflator pump. They give you this thing on the bottom, it's called a violent fan. And what we think it's built for is, say if you wash your bike off, it's a way to really like blow out all the electronics. Super nice touch. That's something that I would never expect to come with an E-Moto and something that I've never owned myself. I usually just use a leaf blower, but after seeing that, it's like, that's really smart. And that'll come in handy to new riders. A few other things that come in the box. You get a toolkit, super necessary. I believe every single tool that they give you is everything you need to put this bike together. Another nice thing that came with the bike is a nice charger and a carrying case for that. One thing I noticed that I think could be improved upon is in the battery compartment. The latches, I find that they don't lock the battery down as tight as I'd like it to. Maybe you could put something on top of the battery to make those latches work a little bit tighter and hold into place. Or maybe you can adjust something on the latch level itself. Nothing was super obvious to me on that. I had the battery latch down earlier. I went riding on this really rough terrain and the latches were loose. So I think that's something that could be improved upon. You could absolutely modify that on your end. Just something to note. The connector on the top where you plug in your power and communication, it's kind of in a tight little area. There's probably a way to modify that, but I think the connector is just a little bit too jammed in there, and that could have been placed a little bit differently. The suspension is totally fine for this platform. This is one of those bikes where maybe this is the extent of where you go with your trail riding, but I think for a lot of people, this is a great entry point. This is something as a full-size adult, I'm about 6 foot tall. I have a long torso. This bike fits me really well. And I think if you're a shorter rider, you'd be fine too. But I think this is one of those bikes where you don't really worry about the upgrade path all that much. Sure, put new grips on it, put new handguards on it. You'll find little things like the battery latch thing that need to be adjusted. But overall, the bike's just fine, Like you'll put new tires on over time after you wear them out. And this is an excellent stepping stone bike for someone who's getting into E-Moto riding and wants to focus on trail riding. I think this bike is totally designed for that. It just says it in the geometry and the little features that are added to it. And I think that's a great addition to the market. A lot of these bikes, it seems like they lean more toward people who are riding in the street. There's a huge culture in E-Moto that does that. But it's great to see an entry point bike at $4,500 that works really well for the trail. All right, let's just go tear around on this thing. See how it feels. A little rocky. It's pretty fun in sport mode, honestly. Man, this is so rocky. Woo, pokies. All right, that's the safest way down here. All right. Yeah, it's honestly doing better than I thought it would in some of the really rocky stuff. Yeah, it's rough, but like, it'll do it. It's super agile. If you need to do sharp little movements like that, just kind of turn around stuff, it's really easy. It's kind of the beauty of the small platform that I think some people will like here. Whew. It's a workout too, man. For any of you new riders looking into this bike, get ready. This thing is gonna wear you out. In a good way. In a go get out there and try your best, you know, kind of way. That's all we're really doing out here. We're all just at different stages. Ooh, the water. Another thing you might be wondering is, how's the range on this, you know? It's a good question. Let's just see. I mean, you're getting an experience of like how fast I'm riding the bike, which is probably a little more aggressive than most people are gonna ride. I'm 7.8 miles into this ride right now, and I'm at 64% battery. And honestly, like, I'd say you could bet on getting like 20 miles of range out of this bike, which is pretty good. It's a little bit less than some bikes, but also, you know, you also get a really lightweight bike. It's a good price. And obviously if you go easier, if you're on smoother terrain than this stuff, you know, maybe you're gonna get up into that like 25, 30 kind of range. Yeah, I could probably soften the suspension more, but it soaks up a lot of this really well. I don't know if it's the grips or what though, but I'm getting really bad arm pump. I think I'm just not used to how it feels compared to my bike. Wow. It's easy to catch your peg though. I've done that a few times. You're definitely lower to the ground than more of like a mid-sized bike, so you got to be careful with that. You just learn your boundaries, you know. Like, I'm used to how my bike rides, so I'm gonna like push it into situations where it's really not best here. So who is this bike ultimately designed for? I would say that if you are a beginner rider or someone who's maybe coming from mountain biking and you're trying to get into the E-Moto space and you specifically want to ride off-road trails, this is definitely designed for that. You know, it's $4,500. It's an excellent price point for someone who's just beginning and they know they want to ride dirt, they know they want to ride trails, and it's kind of hard to beat. At $4,500, there's really not much more you need to do to this. Yeah, sure, maybe you'll like fix the battery latch thing And maybe there are gonna be a few little things that go wrong. You're probably gonna wanna replace the grips, but those are teeny tiny things that cost like very little money. It could be a good stepping stone bike, like you might buy it and then jump to something bigger after it, but for a lot of scenarios, this is all that most people need. It's a lot of power, it's a lot of fun, it's very planted, it hooks up in the dirt. And if you're someone who's wanting to get into E-Moto riding, or if you just want a small E-Moto for trail riding for your area or your kids, or to have a second bike or whatever it is, it's really hard to beat at that price point.